Alrighty, boys, so welcome back to another video. As you guys know, we do cover some stuff politically. We started getting back onto that train a little bit since, we took a break after the election. Now we're kind of back on it since we're back into React content more than just, some gaming content. So this is kind of like a mini intro, not an official intro. We're just going to get straight into the content here. So basically, we got a bunch of information about the tariffs going on with Donald Trump. Before we get into that, here's our YouTube comment shout out, by the way. I don't know which way. I think we're this way now. I'm changing the way that my camera is on the screen, so I'm not exactly sure what side I'm on, but YouTube comment shout outs up. We're going to go ahead and get into it. And we're starting off with, I believe this is Mexico's pause of the tariffs that are supposed to be
developing story as we are hearing that President Trump has agreed to pause tariffs on Mexico for 1 month in exchange for Mexico placing troops along the border. Let's head back out to this, the post from the president via...
That is a really good change. A lot of people say that tariffs don't work, but then when the country goes and says, hey, we're going to go ahead and, cave in a little bit to some of these I guess proposals that you guys have for us, and the fact that they literally caved in less than 24 hours after saying they were going to put tariffs back onto the U.S. is pretty wild. Now the only reason I think that the Mexico caved in is only because they originally proposed the idea of back to America since they deployed their national troops and stuff like that, 10,000 I believe, or something like that I saw on Twitter.
Truth Social, and I do want to bring it to you here in full, as it says this.
There you go, 10,000.
I just spoke with President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico. It was a very friendly conversation wherein she agreed to immediately supply 10,000 Mexican soldiers on the border, separating Mexico and the United States. These soldiers will be specifically designated to stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal migrants into our country. We further agreed to immediately pause the anticipated tariffs for 1 month period, during which we will have negotiations headed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent, and Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, and high-level representatives of Mexico. I look forward to participating in those negotiations with President Sheinbaum as we attempt to achieve a deal between our two countries. We also continue to have this live picture out of Mexico as President Sheinbaum continues to address a crowd there, including the press.
Not only that, but I'm pretty sure as well that they did agree, or that America agreed, that we were gonna, help with the gun flow or something like that of high-powered weapons heading into Mexico. So I'd say in this one it was pretty even. I would even say necessarily that America won, but I'd say for sure that them, combating each other with tariffs, just the initiation of America doing it and then Mexico retaliating, I think that definitely started the negotiations there. Because, I mean, look at it from this perspective. Both sides don't want to be beefing when they're right next to each other. That doesn't make any sense, especially economically.
Was answering some questions regarding that phone call that she had with President Trump early this morning around 8 in the morning local time. And I do want to just recap this breaking news for you all here, reading some reporting from the Associated Press in which they say Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum saying Monday that after a conversation with U.S. President Donald Trump that the planned tariffs are on hold for 1 month, a statement that has been confirmed by the White House. The Mexican president added that the two countries would continue
to figure things out. They can't figure things
talks on security and trade, and that the, quote, tariffs are put on pause for a month from now. Now, the pause added to the drama as President Trump's tariffs against Canada and China are still slated to go into effect on Tuesday. That's tomorrow. Uncertainty remains about the durability of any deals and whether the tariffs are going to bring on a broader trade war, as President Trump has promised more import taxes to come. The president posting on social media that he spoke Monday with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and would be speaking to him again at 3 p.m. Both Canada and Mexico had plans to levy their own tariffs in response to U.S. actions, but Mexico is holding off for the moment. The president That's Trump, using his Monday social media post to repeat his complaints that Canada has been uncooperative, despite decades of friendship and partnerships that range from World War
this
II
perspective,
to
from
the
this time
response to the
frame, that's
9/11
pretty
terrorist
bad.
attacks
I'd say
on
it's
the
pretty
United
bad.
States.
But
So while we
with
are
how it came
following
out,
this development between the U.S. and Mexico, it still remains to be seen
so
what.
that's pretty much what happened with Mexico. So, I mean, for the most part, like I said, I think that was very 50-50. They didn't mention in there, but I did see on which one got on Twitter, to one of the official posts, that they actually did agree to help out on their end as well. So I think it was just like a 50-50 thing more on that side. Now, I believe that the Canada one was definitely more of a landslide-ish type thing, especially with how Canada's economy is running right now. I just don't really think that Canada in general is really doing all that great to be tariffing on the other spectrum, like tariffing back, because a lot of their overall like GDP and economic standing kind of rides on the U.S. a bit, only because especially their export of cars and stuff like that, that has a huge impact on their economy if they just stop, but they're not able to give out cars because of tariffs and because of high prices. I think that just affect them a little too much. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna see what's going on here. Of course, we got sounds about right.
Resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. Proposed tariffs will be paused for at least 30 days while we work together. Around a quarter of all trade between the United States and Canada crosses that bridge, the Ambassador's Bridge. It's £260 million worth of goods every single day. A lot of them cars, car parts, many of which crisscross the border multiple times before they end up either at an assembly plant in Detroit on that side of the river or here in Windsor, Ontario, which is Canada's car capital. These are tightly integrated supply chains, hugely complicated to unpick and hugely costly if every crossing involves a tariff.
Yep.
Jib, who we interrupt over his lunch at a car repair workshop, is not positive about the future.
It's not easy for people as is today to survive out here with pay and, taxes as is. Now we're adding an extra 25%.
He's an idiot. I don't think anyone from Canada is going to pay him anything to ship their cars over there. I don't think that's...
Do you think he actually thinks that you'll become his 51st state?
I think he's...
I don't know.
I think he needs to go back to school and do a lot of research on what's
I just don't think that Canada is going to
Mexico has won an 11th hour reprieve, saying it will strengthen its northern border with an additional 10,000 troops in return for a 1-month pause in tariffs. The United States, in turn, promising to combat the flow of guns into Mexico and the hands of the cartels.
Yeah, there we go. There's a mention of that.
I told him that we've been working together on immigration, that there were results, always based on protection and respect for human rights. And then we talked about his interest, and ours as well, in reducing the traffic of fentanyl. But I also explained to him the seriousness of the amount of high-powered weapons that enter from the United States.
For all the noise, Canadians remain baffled as to what exactly it is that Donald Trump wants from them.
The pretext offered is the flimsiest pretext possible. Less than 1%.
Well, I think he's pretty much said it. He just wants better border, security. Literally, that's it. And the fact that, and the other thing was that they kind of rely more, we're kind of like a security type thing going on here where America is this big superpower when it comes to the military. And it just kind of seems like we're defending the North American area, overall. So I feel like they're just kind of riding off that a little bit. So I think what we need to do, or what's going on, because there's so many immigrants that do come in from Canada, because it's a lot easier to immigrate into Canada than it is over into Mexico and then climb through there, because you got the cartels and stuff. But you go up from Canada, it's a lot easier to get into the U.S. from up there. So yeah, especially with if you guys saw some of those places in Colorado and I think it was Aurora, Colorado or something like that, where one of the city or one of the apartment complexes is completely taken over by a cartel of some type or some type of gang. But yeah, a lot of them do immigrate from the northern side more than just the southern side as well. And that's from different countries and stuff like that, not even just Mexico. It's just because of how easy it is to get through there, so it's better for them to just go over, go from the border. But like I said, literally just border security and I believe just money in general, and it's the security part of it. That's just all of all those factors all together. I'm pretty sure that's what
around 0.2% of the fentanyl that comes into the U.S. comes through the Canadian border. If border security were the issue, this could be solved in 5 minutes.
Fresh off the plane from his weekend in Mar-a-Lago, the US president lashed out at the EU, the UK getting a mention too. No alliance is sacred when it comes to America first.
They take almost nothing. And we take everything from them, millions of cars, tremendous amounts of food and farm products. So the UK is way out of line, and we'll see the UK, but European Union is really out of line. UK is out of line, but I'm sure that one, I think that one can be worked out. But the European Union
it can be worked out possibly.
An atrocity.
Taking a wrecking ball to long-standing trade ties would fray partnerships and put a strain on the global economy. Testing those partnerships too is a...
Yeah, but that's another thing is that, like she said, testing the partnerships, he tested it with Canada and Mexico, and now Canada and Mexico are working with Trump. So I don't really get why, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense why they're saying that it's going to cause a ton of strain, when in reality, it's actually kind of done the opposite. So we're going to watch this next one of Fox News.
Taxes is paying the price.
Everyone, you are watching live now from Fox. We appreciate everyone continuing to join us all right here. I'm your host, Mike Page. Always great to be with you as we continue to roll on. We do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. You were just learning from Justin Trudeau that he's saying that the tariffs have been paused in Canada now for at least 30 days following the call with President Trump. That's coming from Lucas Tomlinson from Fox News are reporting that out there. So just like what we saw with Mexico earlier today with that pause, now we do know that Canada is doing the same pause with the United States here on trying to come up with better terms instead of using tariffs here. So once again, we did hear from President Trump earlier today. We'll play out some more of his remarks, but that was right before he was going to be speaking to Justin Trudeau. He felt confident that the same outcome would happen with Canada like it did with Mexico earlier today, and that's exactly what happened there. So again, major news coming out of the White House as Justin Trudeau just putting this out on X as well, saying, I just had a good call with President Trump. Canada is implementing our $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow
I think if the U.S. cooperates with them like
fentanyl.
that,
and to
huge.
Continue on, saying nearly, I just had saying that also the nearly 10,000 frontline personnel and will be working on protecting the border as well. In addition, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list cartels as terrorists, ensure 24/7 eyes on the border, launch a Canada-U.S. joint strike force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. I have also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl, and we will be backing it with $200 million. Proposed tariffs will be paused for at least 30 days while we work together there. So quite the change now from Canada after that call with President Trump. Now Canada doing the same as with Mexico and pausing it for 30 days to try to work out a better deal there. But it looks like Canada already stepping up, just like how Mexico did with the 10,000 soldiers there at the border. So again, we will be keeping an eye on this major update coming out of the White House and beyond right here on Live Now from Fox.
Yeah, and that pretty much covered it, boys. So overall, I mean, I think the tariffs worked. At least over in Canada and Mexico. I can't say for China because I don't know how China's going to react. Like I said, I've recently just started getting more into politics more recently, so I could be pretty uneducated with some of these, topics and stuff like that. And I'm not going to talk on China since I haven't researched on it yet. Need to look more into it and then see possibly if we can come up with some type of idea of how they're going to respond. But overall, boys, I do believe that the tariffs did work. Like I said, Mexico is very 50-50. Canada, they sent a bunch of stuff, promised like a $1.3 billion plan. So I think the U.S. won out on that one. But then again, it's not really about winning out or, you know, going 50-50. Well, actually, I think it's better to go 50-50 on stuff like that. Only because, you know, it shows that you're both committed on both ends. But then again, like they were saying before, the U.S. does provide pretty good security. So I think that is their 50-50 there. I just think it's good that countries are negotiating and not just cutting off ties and, you know, being egotistical about it, especially when, you know, we got people that are not able to buy homes, you know, get jobs on both sides in America and, you know, over in Canada as well. So, yeah, I think overall, good changes overall, and hopefully, you know, it works out for the best during those 30 days when they work out an official deal. And hopefully everything goes through and it doesn't fall through or anything like that. So we can actually, you know, secure our borders, especially for other countries. I think it's good that they secure theirs as well. Security in multiple different countries, especially ones around us over here in the U.S. is especially good because that's just less overall. And it's more amazing for just, you know, humankind in general. So anyways, boys, that's pretty much going to do it for the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's reaction. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, boys.